good afternoon, and konbanwa. Wherever you are in the world, I'm the idol to give you the wings to fly. Cyber Angel, Rita Kamishiro, at your service. And I'm back! Woohoo! Yay! Hello! Hello, Bio. Hello, Mercenary. Hello, Slowly. Hello, Right Trousers. Hello, X-Grad. Hello, Absolute Link. Hello, TNT. Hello, Red. Hello, Aaron. Hello, Demon Warrior. Hello, Carl. Hello, Mabu. Hi! I'm so glad to be back. Oh my gosh. And I'm only a little, well, I'm only a little bit, a lot tired. I'm so glad to be back. How have you all been? I've missed you all. It's been a crazy week. It's only been 1 week. Jet lag still hanging on? It does take, doesn't it take like a few days for like jet lag to go away? I think I've been doing, like my sleep schedule isn't off at all. Well, I wake up a little earlier than normal, but I'm tired. Yeah, so I didn't take a nap today yet. I might take a nap after this. But yesterday, oh my goodness, I napped so much. But like I knew I was going to be tired, so I owned it. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to stress out too much about being productive. I did end up doing some work in the morning. I woke up really early. I woke up at like 5:30, which is not normal. I usually wake up at like 7, which I know for a lot of people is also not normal. But I woke up at 5:30 and I rotted in bed for about 3 hours. I was like, what do I do? I'm like, I'm not, so tired that I, can fall back asleep. I have a really hard time falling back asleep once I've woken up. But I also can't, like, get up and do stuff. So I just, scrolled for 3 hours. Yeah. And then I ended up sleeping at 10, which is also not normal. Or 10:30-ish. I usually sleep around midnight. I go from like midnight to 7. Yeah. So, a little off. But today I woke up at 6:30 maybe? And who knows what time I'll fall asleep. So yesterday I also ended up taking like a bunch of micro naps. It was really weird. But yeah, I hope it's not too bad. I had idle side job today and that went pretty well. The rot. You're familiar. You prefer to call it festering. There is a word for it. And I'm gonna own it. I'm gonna not own like the term, but I'm gonna own my time that I spent yesterday. It's called Herkel-Dirkling. Herkel-Dirkling is a retreat. Is to lie in bed or lounge about when one should be up and about. So I'm gonna own that period of time, and I'm gonna call it my recovery. I'm gonna call it my Herkel-Dirkling. It's all about reframing things in your mind. That way I don't feel bad. That way I don't, beat myself up for having a normal recovery period from jet lag. So, pretty good. But anyway, welcome in. If you don't know what today's stream is about, I'm going to be talking about my trip. I just came back. Last week, I went on a trip. I was chaperoning. Oh my gosh, I have so many funny stories to tell you all, but that's what today's stream is about. My little sister had a school trip, and to make sure she had a fun time and also didn't get lost in another country, I joined along as a chaperone. I guess as a chaperone light, because I was I don't know how to explain it. I was the only non-parent chaperone. I was the youngest chaperone by a long shot. So much so that I can't even imagine, I can't even count how many times I was mistaken as a student. Oh my gosh. So it was like an educational tour, lots of museums and history lessons. It was really cool. I think it was a fantastic opportunity for all the students to have to learn about history and musical culture. It was really awesome, and I'm glad I got the chance to go with. Oh, but I don't know if I have the guts to chaperone again. I don't know if the guts is the word for it. Energy? I don't know how the parents did it, but maybe I guess they actually have practice. But, I was like, how do I make sure these kids don't die but also, how do I convince them to listen to me? Oh, saying thank you so much for this super chat. I miss you all so much too. I hope you all enjoy my little stories. Rita being the best big sister. Well, I tried to do my best, you know, and I would like to think that my sister had a fun time and that her friends thought I was really cool too. I hope. They were all like nerds, like me. It wasn't that big of like a group that went, but we also had like small groups. The reason why I went is because they had like a requirement for how many chaperones had to go. So I didn't have to pay for anything. Thank goodness. I just saved up enough money so that I could like pay for my sister to like have souvenirs and eat good food. Well, they provided like a good chunk of the food, but when we were out and about, I wanted to make sure that, you know, she could try stuff and, you know, have a fun time and things like that. So I saved up a lot of money. I've been saving up for that. I didn't spend too much, I promise. But I wanted to make sure she had like a comfortable time and she didn't have to worry too much about all that stuff. But yeah, since they needed to meet like a certain threshold, I didn't actually have to pay for anything. So thank goodness. Oh my gosh, I don't think I would have been able to go. But yeah, so it went pretty well. Yes, it was for high schoolers. Should I just start there? I didn't even talk about where I went. So it was mostly Austria. If you couldn't tell already from my karaoke theme yesterday, I sang some songs that were either like German themed or had German in them. So I was mostly in Austria. I had a little bit of time in Germany and the Czech Republic. Everywhere was so cool. I had a lot of really awesome history. And I got to learn about music history and music culture. It was so cool. So I'll talk about that too. But yeah, I was a chaperone for this trip, and it was really interesting. I joked. I don't know who I was joking this with, but I was saying it about how because I had another like chaperone in my group. I wasn't the only adult chaperone in the group. I actually had a pair of parents in my group. There had to be certain numbers and things like that. So I was like, whew, thank goodness. I was like the personality hire of the chaperones, right? Because I felt like, when we had all of the kiddos in our group, it wasn't that big of a group. It was like 5 or 6. When we had all of the kiddos in the group, I was helping out. The parents even told me, they were like, we're so glad, Rita, that you're here with us, because it would be a lot more stressful if we didn't have like you to kind of like, be the lead, or like if we're walking in a line, like one of us will be like in the front, one of us will be like at the back of just to make sure they don't get lost and things like that. They were like, thank goodness you were here, because they were like, you can like keep them entertained, because me and the people I was chaperoning, we're technically the same generation. So I got to talk to them about Genshin Impact. Not saying that only people in my generation play Genshin, but I knew it was funny, because like I would quote like TikToks, just that's how I am, and they were like, wait, what? You're so funny. And like, oh my gosh, I was like, oh, that's just how I am, I'm sorry. But I felt like I was like a personality. I was the personality hire of the chaperones, because it was like I didn't fully know how to be a responsible adult, but I was responsible enough, and I kept the children entertained. I felt like a court jester. It was really funny. I told them, I was like, I have a free pass to be cringe, because I am the court jester of this group, and it is my job to keep you all entertained. Oh, I can't believe the online entertainer was entertaining. I forgot which one of the chaperones said it, but they were like, you're so funny, you're so entertaining. And I was like, oh, it's so almost like I do this for a living. The weather was so nice. Oh my goodness. Oh, the weather was perfect. It was raining a little bit, and our tour manager was like, I'm sorry that you all had to be here when it's raining, but it wasn't raining that bad. I thought it was a really nice amount of rain, and the temperature was just perfect. It was like 50s, 60s. It was so lovely. But where was I? Yeah, so multiple times. I'm trying to think of the different times I can. Here's one. So we were so there was a lot of experiences that were like, just because I think it was like a space thing, because we didn't want to like crowd the spaces, or maybe it was a money thing, I'm not sure. But there were some like student only experiences for like museums or things like that. So, you know, they would let the students in and things like that, and they would do their, you know, educational thingamabob. And then the chaperones had like free time for like an hour or two to do whatever. And what happened was, I think one of the students was like, had misbehaved, so they weren't like allowed in to the space. And so they were kind of like lurking outside, kind of with one of the chaperones or something. And I walked up to him because I was like, oh my gosh, like, you know, maybe they're lost or something. And so I asked him, I was like, are you supposed to be out here? Like, where's the rest of the tour group? And he was like, oh, did you also get in trouble too? I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a chaperone. And he was like, oh. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, you have the wrong idea. And, you know, that was one of the, no, I'm not a troublemaker. It was like the adults were allowed to have free time. So, you know, we just had to like meet up at that area again after an hour. I'm not a troublemaker, I promise. I think I was a good chaperone. So that was one of the times I was mistaken as a chaperone. Many of the adults too also were like, oh, so there in Germany at least, there was a time where I think it was like, I can't remember if it was dinner with like the full group or if it was just adult chaperone time, but they offered to all the adults like, hey, you know, like if you want, we have like a selection of beer and you can try them. And I thought, you know, if it's like really like well-known beer or like it's, you know, part of the food culture, I was like, I'll give it a shot because you know, all the adults were offered it and things like that. So I was like, I'll have this one. Let me see if I can search up what it was, because it was actually really nice. I'm not a beer person. I think I've mentioned before, in terms of alcoholic drinks, I don't like the taste of alcohol. It's not my, you know, cup of tea, cup of alcohol. I'm more of like a sweet drink kind of person. Here, let me search it up. Oh, I had a schnitzel too. It was so good. It was my first time, I think, ever having a schnitzel, and it was so good. I really liked it. The beer is called Alpenstoff. That's the one I chose. This wasn't in Germany. This was in Austria, I think. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe in the Salzburg area. I can't remember. But, you know, I ordered it, and the guy was like, are you above this age? And then I was the only one who was asked that because I look like a high schooler apparently. And I had to be like, oh, this is I trust me, I'm an adult. And so I started taking my ID out. I was like, do you want to see? I mean, like, I don't want to, I promise I'm not being a rapscallion. And he was like, oh no, we don't do that here. I was so embarrassed though. I was like, I promise I'm not under the age of 16. I promise I'm an adult. And, you know, he went and got the drinks for everyone, and he came back, and for me specifically, he was like, here, I'm gonna give you 5-star service. And he poured it all like fancy, like in front of me, and he was like, here you go, ma'am. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, so here's another funny story. Because every single time, you know, someone mistook me as being a high schooler, you know, all the chaperones were like, oh, you're gonna, you know, you're gonna love that, you know, when you grow older. You're not gonna miss that when you grow older. And they were like, oh, trust me, you're gonna really look forward to that, Jean, when you're much older. It's like, okay, I guess, you know, for me it was mostly like I felt bad for like causing trouble, I guess, or causing confusion. So I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't. Yeah. But this was at the airport, and in my small group, like in my chaperone group, one of the students got selected for like the random you know when you get like the marking on your boarding pass and you have to do like an extra screening just randomly. So one of my chaperone students was selected for that, and so I like went up with them to the front or whatever, and they were like, oh, you know, they were selected for screening, and I was saying, oh well, we're part of a tour group. I don't know if that is, you know, important information. And the lady was like, oh well, we're gonna need your teacher. And so I thought, I was like, oh okay, maybe this is like just the protocol for like school tour things, like you have to get the teacher. So I went and got the teacher. I was like, hey, like you need to come up to the front and things like that. And they were like, oh okay, you're here. And they walked up to the teacher and they were like, oh, we need someone over the age of 18. And the teacher looked at me because he knew that I was over the age of 18. And I was like, you know what? I don't think they caught that the first time. I don't think they realized that for me. And they were like, how old are you? And I told them how old I was. And like, oh, yeah, no, you'll be just fine. You can chaperone the person. I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And then again, the teacher was like, when you're older, you'll appreciate that. He was like, you're not at the age yet where... He was like, you're at the age where if people mistake you for being a high schooler, you know, you'll be like, oh, why don't people recognize me as an adult? And he was like, you'll be grateful for it later. I was like, okay, sure thing. Oh my gosh. I think it does have to do with being... Some people were like, you know, I wish I had that gene or whatever. And I was like... I guess. I mean, I hate causing confusion and trouble. Slowly passing away says, you need an adult. I am an adult. Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, there was definitely at least 10, I promise, 10 different times where I had to be like, yes, I am an adult. I promise it's gonna be okay. Someone, oh my goodness. Let me tell you, I tried so hard to be a good chaperone and making sure these students don't get lost or they don't get in trouble and things like that, but it's so hard to get them to take you seriously when you look like one of them. And it was towards the end of the trip where I'm pretty sure a good majority of the students, you know, I would hope, figured out that I wasn't just somebody's sister going on the trip, that I was like a chaperone, because you know I've had a couple of moments where I was like, okay everyone, like I'm gonna do roll call or I'm gonna do a room check. So I don't know, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they just thought I was a sibling who was stepping out of line or something. But at this point I was so stressed out because we were in a busy airport, and you know I just had a moment where a bunch of people almost got lost. And I had to be like, guys, this is where we're going. Because I was walking behind, kind of, you know, caboosing it, you know. And I was watching where they were going because we were making a connecting flight. And I was like, okay, we're making a connecting flight, so we have to go through the connecting tunnel, the connecting flights tunnel, right? In big letters, big bold coloring, this is where we need to go. And so I'm watching them, I'm like, wait, why are they walking past this gate that says connecting flight? I was like, hey guys, hello? And so I don't know, I guess I'm not really good at raising my voice. So thankfully one of like the students was like, hey, listen. And so and I was like, guys, I think we're supposed to, I knew we were supposed to go there, but I was like, we're supposed to go this way because we're making our connecting flight in this terminal. And, you know, thankfully they saw me and they, you know, followed me. I was like, oh my gosh, I almost nearly lost like 25 people. It was so scary, it was so stressful. So I just come off of that experience. And, you know, it's like two small groups that were kind of like separated. And so the teacher was like, okay, go meet us at this terminal. We'll be there in a little bit. So I lead my small little group over to, you know, where we're supposed to be. And we're still waiting on the other group. And this small group of like children or students, I guess, were like, oh, well, yes. They were like, oh, can we go get food now? I'm so hungry. Like, and I understand, right? You know, we just got off of a flight. You're probably pretty hungry. But, you know, we were told to all stay, like, in one area. And so I was trying to tell them, like, hey, I understand you're hungry. I'm sorry to hear that. You must be really tired. But I think we should stay here, you know, like, because we were told to. You know, I was like, your teacher said that this is what you have to do. And, you know, they kept trying to be like, oh, but one of us is like 17 or like 18. Like, that's basically an adult, right? Like, we can go off on our own. I was like, no, you're not a chaperone. Like, that's not how this works. You're a student. And I didn't say that to them, but I was trying to gently explain to them, like, you're gonna get in trouble with your teacher, and you could also get lost if you go off on your own. And I had to drag in a bunch of other, like, you know, chaperones. I say, hey, look, they're also saying not to go. And then they snuck off when we weren't looking. I was so scared. Thankfully, they made it back, but they ended up getting in trouble. But I was like, what can I do to make them listen? But I tried my best, right? Gosh. But aside from that, I think it went pretty well. You know, my sister texted me after everything, and she was like, my friends think you're really cool. And I thought, well, I thought that was really nice because, you know, I wasn't trying to be cool. You know, I think mostly I was like, I'm probably really annoying. You know, because with the other students who were like, I don't want to listen to you, blah, blah, blah. In my head, I was kind of just like, I know I'm going to cramp your style. You know, as a chaperone, I know that's what's happening right now. I know you want to be independent and, you know, do your own thing. But, you know, for your own safety, I'm going to cramp your style. And, you know, so I wasn't expecting to be, like, well-liked. But, yeah, I you know, at least within our small group, my sister was like, yeah, like, all my friends think you're really funny. And, like, you're really silly. So, yeah. Can I carry a big stick or a big crown? Something big or commanding? I don't know. I tried to dress up as, like, nicely as possible. Because I was like, you know, we're in another country. And, like, I want to make sure we make a good impression. And so I tried to dress a little bit more, like, snappy, casual, business casual. But I guess that still didn't come across. It's gotta be the cool Tita Rita. Oh my gosh. Oh goodness. But yeah, I think I did a good job chaperoning. Yeah, it was a high school. I was chaperoning high schoolers. But I think it went pretty well. No one died. And no one got lost. And yeah. You dress nicely, not imposing. Wear a big cape. Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine? But yeah, aside from the chaperoning itself, I learned a lot. We went to a lot of really cool, like, cultural sites. So it was, like, mostly about music, which was really awesome because I love music and I love music history. So we went to, oh my gosh, let me pull up a couple of pictures. I don't have too many. I mostly, like, helped. I think I was too busy, like, helping take pictures for my sister of, like, her and her friend group. So I didn't take too many pictures. I hope you'll forgive me. But I think the pictures that I did take, oh, here's a funny one, are pretty nice. So let's see here. I guess I'll just put it in front of my face. How's that sound? Here's one. We went to Mozart's birthplace, like the house that he grew up in. That was really cool. Let me get that pulled up for you all. And it was really funny. When I was going up the stairs, I saw this little guy. And the weird thing is I saw him 2 times. I saw him 2 different places. So this is Lego Mozart. And the funny thing is, like I said, I saw him in 2 different places. I saw him here in the house that he grew up in. See Lego Mozart. And I went to a museum. It was so cool. I love interactive museums. It was an interactive museum called the House of Music, Haus der Musik. And Lego Mozart was there too. And so I was like, if I had a nickel for every time I saw Lego Mozart while I was in Austria, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but weird that it happened 2 times in 2 separate places. Yeah, Mozart's a great composer. I'm definitely more of, like, a romantic, you know, composer. So I love, like, Chopin, Debussy. Like, I definitely lean more towards that. Or, like, more contemporary composers. But I think Mozart is nice. I think I appreciate his music. So we learned about his life growing up, his family. Yeah. So that was really cool. I don't know why this is one of the only pictures I took of the house, I guess. But yeah. For sure. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he is Austrian. I think he grew up and was born in Salzburg, which is where I think this house was. Salzburg was great. We also saw a lot of spots. Here, let me take off the picture of Lego Mozart. We also got to see a bunch of spots from The Sound of Music. That was really cool. Oh my gosh, but Salzburg was also the place. Can I tell you all about my whole thingamabob when I was buying souvenirs? So, oh my gosh, it kind of bummed me out for a few minutes, but I was like, I'm not gonna let this ruin my vibe. I'm gonna, keep up the good energy, not just for me, but for like my sister and her friends too. So after we had like our little tour, where we saw all of like the Sound of Music stuff and, just like learned about the city in general. We went to a couple of like churches or nice buildings. We had free time to like roam and buy souvenirs, and my sister pointed out a souvenir shop, and in my head I was like, it's a little kitschy. For me, at least, when it comes to souvenirs, I tend to stray away from souvenir shops like that. But I was like, it's my sister's trip. I'm not gonna like rain on her parade. So I essentially like let her lead the group, or I let her and her friends lead where we went. Was making sure that we don't go into any sketchy places. But for the most part, we let them decide where to go. I have something to say about that. But we're talking about the whole fiasco. So we go into this shop, and I there wasn't really much I wanted to buy, but I was like, I guess I could start breaking up some of my euros, I guess. So I pick up a 8 euro mug, right? I was like, okay, it's a tiny little mug, but might as well start breaking up some of my currency. So I go up to the checkout table. My sister's behind me. She's gonna check something out too. And I hand the lady a 20 euro, the blue 20 euro thingamabob. And, she wraps up my mug or whatever, and she picks up the receipt, gathers her change, and she hands me the receipt and the change. And, there's a long line, and, I was like, I don't want to take up too much time, but I still need to count my change. So since my sister's the one going next, I was like, I kind of stepped over to the side a little bit. I was still right in front of the counter. My sister goes, and I quickly count my change, and I was like, oh, she only gave me 2 euros back. So I was like, oh, easy mistake. I could just make sure that she can get me the 10 euro after. So, I kind of wait for a lull in their conversation, and I go, hey, I think you forgot to give me 10 euros. And to sum up the whole interaction, because it was a lot, I genuinely felt like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was so, I don't know if scared is the right word. I was so overwhelmed. Because, I was trying to be, understanding, because I was like, oh, maybe she just forgot. But she was so mean. I was so scared. And she was like, she said this. She was like, I'm right, you're wrong. And I was like, okay, because there was a long line, and I wasn't about to keep their line. So, I was like, I'm gonna let it be. Let it be. I don't want to cause any trouble. I don't want to be like that. It's okay, it's only 10 euros. Is what I told myself. And it was crazy because my sister was behind me, and she was like, yeah, she handed you a 20 euro. She vouched for me, and I looked at the receipt, and the receipt said out of 20, right? And the change is 12, but I had only gotten 2. And she was saying oh, you weren't paying attention. This is why you don't leave. You should have. I was like, I did, because I don't think I left. I just stepped to the side to count, my change. I don't want to keep up the line. And so she basically said, I'm right, you're wrong. She actually said that. Not basically. She actually said that. She's like, I'm right, you're wrong. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. Have a nice day. I walked away. And I went up to the actual adult in the group. Like I said, there was like 2 adults, the parents of one of the other students. They were in our small group, and I explained everything to her because I needed emotional support. And she was like, yeah, no, you're valid. Like, I don't know why she did that. You're in the right. And it was so glad there was an actual adult in our group, so I could feel safe and validated. But yeah, it was a little bit of a bummer. That was my first purchase at a store, so I was a little like jarred, but I was like, I'm not gonna let this ruin our good times. I'm not gonna let this ruin my mood. And the next store was really, really nice, actually. We struck up a nice little conversation, and the topic of that interaction had come up. And he was like, oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. She must have been having like a bad day, or maybe she was just like, I was like, yeah, you know what, you're right. And, he was like, let me like make sure that your change is right. And like, I'm pretty good at like, I've gone to like Japan before, and I've had to like deal with like other currency. So, I was pretty careful with studying like the currency, getting ready to go there. But he was like, here's your currency, like here's this. And like, he was very patient with me. So yeah, I think it was just not a good time with that specific thing. Yeah, I was really surprised she said that. I'd never heard someone say that, like, so boldly rude before. I was so shocked. I was like, I don't think I approached this, conversation with any sort of energy that would have come off as hostile. I came up to her and was like, hey, like, sorry to be bothered, but I think you might have accidentally given me, like, you might have missed giving me this change. And I don't know, I get maybe she had a bad day. But I was counting my money is the thing. I didn't walk away from the table. I stepped to the side, still with my money out, like, the way that she put it in my hand. Because I assumed she gave it to me to count. So I stepped to the side, literally one step to the side, and started counting. And I said, hey, you gave me the wrong change. So I thought I was, maybe there was like a cultural thing. Maybe you're not supposed to do that. Because that's what I do in the States. So maybe that was my bad. Maybe that's like a cultural thing that I'm not aware of, that you're not supposed to, like, yeah, I don't know. But maybe I don't know. So, and again, maybe she had a bad day. So that was my fiasco, but everything else was fine. Yeah, I think that was my only like currency fiasco. Let me see if I have other pictures from Austria. Let's see. If someone is wrong, cultural or not, you shouldn't have to deal with that. Yeah, but it's one of those like pick your battles kind of thing. I didn't want to like cause like an international incident or anything. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna, it's just 10 euros. It's okay. And how I managed to cope with it, I was like, if you think about it, if you split this one purchase across like the several tiny little purchases I made throughout, it's fine. It's like, imagine just adding an extra like 50, what's the cents equivalent? Like, imagine just adding €1 extra to the other purchases I made. It's fine. Right? It's okay. Sorry that I haven't. Thank you. I appreciate that. But it's like, yeah, I was like, sucks that it happened, but I'm not gonna let it bring me down. Yeah. Do you still have any money left over? Yeah, I have 2 €5 bills. And so, oh, I thought I was gonna have to cough for a second. I'm like a little, not sick, but like fatigued, if that makes sense. But that's the jet lag for you. And it was already, if I'm being honest, I was already a little bit sleep deprived before the trip, trying to get ready for everything. And then the jet lag didn't help. But I'm good now. Don't worry, I'm taking care of myself, I promise. Sometimes, you just gotta go a little silly for a little bit, and then you can go back to taking care of yourself. The spontaneity of life, right? But yeah, so I thought I studied my currency pretty well. So, I had confidence in counting it, but I guess she just decided she wanted to be mean that day. I don't know. I I know it was a lot of money. I was really sad about it, but I didn't want to cause a scene. Because there was a big line, and like I had just met my sister's friends, so I didn't want to be like, I didn't want to come across as like, oh, she's like picky or something, you know what I mean? So I didn't want to, you know, I did, you know, is push back the right word? I did say like, I did offer my receipts, literally. I showed her the receipt, like, hey, you know, you put in your till 20, and when she initially was like, no, I didn't. I showed her the receipt, I was like, you put in 20, but and it says 12 back, but I only got 2 back. And, you know, I explained, I would like to think I explained it rather calmly, but she was like, you know, I'm right, you're wrong. And it was so funny. I think one of my sister's friends, I told them, and oh, bless her heart, she's so sweet. She's so funny. She was like, oh, I forgot. What did she say? She was like, oh, well, they probably needed it. So oh, they were so sweet. They were trying to, you know, make me feel better about it. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let it be. What's 10 euros in the grand scheme of things, right? But yeah. And hello, welcome to those who are new here. Welcome. I think maybe some folks saw the karaoke stream from yesterday. Oh, 2 days ago? Oh, 2 days ago. Oh my gosh, my sense of time is so bad. Because of the jet lag. But welcome! I think I still owe you all a karaoke of the Attack on Titan opening. So remind me at some point to do that. But yeah. Pretty sad. So, I think it was, you know, it's a pick your battle kind of thing. So, I wasn't gonna let it bother me. I think I would have felt even worse if I had pressed the issue more. And at the end of the day, it's okay. It was just 10 euros. No big deal, yo. It's okay. In the grand scheme of things. Which one? What do you mean? Oh, which stream? The karaoke from yesterday? But I understand what you mean. Like the whole, like, you know, she was rewarded for her meanness. At the end of the day, she wasn't worth disturbing my peace, I guess, if that makes sense. So, like, yes, I could, you know, fight for it, but it just didn't seem worth my energy or my peace. So, I let it be. And I think that was probably the best for me, I think. Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, it was no big deal. It was just a tiny little thing. Thankfully, it happened at the beginning of the trip. I think if it was at the end of the trip, I would have been like, aw, you know? You can call me Rita. Rita is totally fine. Yeah. Which opening? The first one? Attack on the... Yeah. But yeah, honestly, it was just a really tiny, small blemish on the trip. It like that... Honestly, I look back on it and it's more of like a silly story that I could like laugh about. Yeah, I also didn't want to risk going to international jail. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna escalate because she's already been very hostile. I don't know. I feel like this is an experience I have a lot with a lot of my female friends. That I feel like, because a lot of people are like, oh, why don't you just like, why do you just laugh it off, or like why don't you just like stand up for yourself? There is a very real fear that the other person could escalate things way more aggressively than you would hope. Because she was already acting very hostile towards me for, it seemed like no reason. So in my head, I was like, okay, what's the safest thing to do here? And, you know, sometimes you just gotta choose your safety, your peace over, you know, fighting for it. And, you know, because for me, it was like, it's not worth fighting for it, if that makes sense. So I chose the Paragon option. I saw somebody say, call her Commander Rita. Yeah, I chose, again, there's no right or wrong, right? I just chose the Paragon option. Where in some cases, you know, maybe if you're more of a renegade, Shep, you might have gone and tried to fight for it a little bit. No punching the cashier, people, okay? We don't do that. So I chose the Paragon route and let it be. Yeah, I know exactly. It felt like a quick time event. I was so, like, I felt it physically. I was like, oh my gosh. I can see the quick time event in my head. So, that's crazy. The renegade is stand your ground and risk international jail, yes. But yeah, let me see if I have any other pictures. Well-documented fact that Rita is probably Admiral material. Aw. I'm trying to think of other times that felt like a quick time event in this trip. I think it was also like some of the times where I had to be like, hey guys, please don't walk in the bike lane. Or like, because people like almost got run over by bikes. I was like, oh my gosh, please don't do that. Or like if somebody was about to get lost, that was really scary. I was like, oh, please don't turn down that direction. That's not where we're going. It did get pretty hectic when it was like, we were like walking as a group to a place, and you know, we started getting a little scattered, and I was like the only chaperone in a certain area of the people. I was like, oh my gosh, someone's gonna get lost. But it's okay. Did you be renegade with the kids at all? I don't think so. At least I hope not. See, that's another, okay, in some cases, it was like a little stressful because they didn't recognize me as a chaperone, but in some cases, it was very helpful because like I could like assimilate, and they could like, you know, they would listen to me in some cases, right? Because, you know, if a parent chaperone's like, hey, turn it down, like stop being so loud, you know, that feels like you're cramping their style, right? But when I walk up to them and I'm like, hey guys, let's just chill out a little bit. They're like, oh, she's cool. Oh my gosh. So like yeah, that was very, you know, beneficial. Or like if like the kiddos were getting a little like restless, and you know, I could start up a conversation with them that kind of reels them in. I was the imposter. No, literally. Oh my gosh. I guess I don't know. Maybe they thought I was one of the students because I would just be like, I don't know. I don't know. I would just say random stuff that I do now, like you know how I randomly quote TikToks every now and then. I guess it helped being in the same like generation as them. So, yeah. Rita being the cool kid. What's that one, like, what's that one image where it's like, hello, fellow cool kids? That was me! Oh my gosh. It was one of my sister's friends had like Farina on her lock screen, and I was like, oh my gosh, is that Farina? And she's like, yeah, that's so cool. Like, I didn't know you like played Genshin. And then I showed her like my Xiao. How embarrassing. I normally have like my, I think I've showed it to you all before. The Omori screen saver, the Omori lock screen that has like the other like Prima Project girlies. So I usually have that one, but I was like, I gotta go undercover. So I like switched it to my Xiao lock screen, the one that I had before. And so I was like, here, look. And she's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And so, you know, you talk about Genshin Impact. I remember I like went to the bathroom with a couple of them because they were like, make sure you take a chaperone. And it's like, oh, I'll go because I need to go to the bathroom too. And so we were waiting, you know, we were waiting in line for like stalls to open up. And one of the girls started talking about Roblox. And I was like, oh yeah, I play Roblox. I've played it before. I was talking about Nia. I was like, yeah, I've played it with one of my friends. And she introduced me. And I was like telling her about like the games that I played. And I was like, yeah, I know about like, you know, I've heard about, what is it called? Dress to Impress. I've played like, I was like, oh, I played a lot of Roblox horror games. And she was like telling me about the Roblox games that she likes and things like that. And she was like, oh my gosh, you're so cool. I didn't know you played Roblox. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Did somebody chaperone watch VTubers? No, I didn't see any. And I was like, thank goodness. I don't have to be like super paranoid or something. I don't know. Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh, I found my fellow Genshin people. I was like, I can be cool. I feel like some of us are still recovering from the Omori streams. I'm right there with you. Yeah. How about the food? The food was really good. Yeah, so we can start talking about like, you know, the things that I learned. But yeah, we were mostly in Austria. So we were like in Vienna, we were in Salzburg, we were in Germany for a little bit. We were also in the Czech Republic for a little bit. That was really cool. And we had a tour guide who was super friendly and super informative. And like whenever we were commuting from one place to another, he would like talk about the history and the people. And it was really awesome. And there's way too much information for me to share because he was just so informative. But I feel like I learned a lot about the culture and the history and the people. It's really awesome. Food, I think somebody mentioned specifically. You all know I love bread. I ate so many croissants It's not even funny. I ate so many croissants at the hotel, at like cafes. I also had a lot of affogato. I feel like I don't normally get the chance to get affogatos like in the US. But I don't normally drink this much coffee. But in order to like be alert, in order to keep my like the students that I was chaperoning safe, I was like, bah, I have to be awake. So I had to, you know, be locked in all the time. So I definitely had way more coffee than I normally do. Which is why I'm so tired now. But I am currently trying to wean myself off of that. I think I had like 1 to 2 coffees a day. I would have a coffee in the morning, and then I'd have like a pick-me-up coffee in the afternoon. Affogato, sorry, not an avocado. But yeah, it's so delicious. But that with like a pastry, the pastries were so good. But my favorites were the croissants. I loved the croissants. I guess normally it's because I already love croissants, so I guess I'm a little biased. The coffee was really nice. I bought some salt from Salzburg. I got this like alpine cooking salt because I have some friends who like cooking. I got some like relaxing like salt that you put in your bath to be relaxed. But yeah, what else did I buy? I bought some chocolates. I bought some chocolates when I was in Austria too. I got the Mozart chocolate. Let me see if I can search it up. Mozart chocolate. Okay. It's Mozart I don't know how to say this. It's Kugeln. And there was like a very well-known store in was it Salzburg that sold it? It's like a little, it's like a ball chocolate, and it has like let me see. It's called Mozart. Here, I'll type it in. It's literally called Mozart chocolate. It has no alcohol. The ones I got don't have alcohol. I opted for the regular one. But yeah, I wanted to get some chocolates from Austria. And so I'm excited to try them. I haven't tried them yet. I bought them because our tour guide was like, yeah, like it's really well known. And so I was like, okay, I'll get it. I'll try them with my friends. Avocado, the holder of Monado is so funny. What else did I buy? I bought like a bath set. A tiny bath set. Again, I'm much better at buying stuff for my friends than I am for myself. What did I buy for myself? I bought like a couple of snacks for myself to take home. Oh my gosh, there's this really good snack from the Czech Republic. I can't remember. It's like a chocolate wafer. And I bought one and I took it home. Chocolate wafer. Oh my gosh, what is it called? It was so good. I ate one today. I think I have one more. Is this it? I might be pronouncing it wrong. Yes, this is it. It's called here, let me just put it in there. I'm afraid I'm gonna say it wrong. In terms of where we went to in the Czech Republic, we went to Prague, or Praha, I think is how you say it. Beautiful city center. We learned about how how they wanted to preserve a lot more of their like old architecture, whereas like in Vienna at some point they were like, we want to have more of like a modernized look. So it's a lot more romantic, like architecturally, I mean, in like the styling, the romantic styling, I guess. The romantic aesthetic was more in Vienna, and our tour guide was saying like, oh, then they have more like a medieval architecture in the Czech Republic. But yeah, I think Prague is a UNESCO. Let me see. I think it's a UNESCO site. Yeah, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But yeah, it's a beautiful town, I thought. Oh yeah, we stopped by the astronomical clock. I don't know if I have a picture of that, because again, I mostly just took pictures of, you know, my sister and her friends, because she, you know, have to be the photographer, right, for the school trip. We also went to the Charles Bridge. We went to Prague Castle. We went to the St. Vitus Cathedral. The Old Town Square was really nice too. We went at night. Like around like... it wasn't dark night, but it was like still bright night. And it was really nice because it wasn't super busy. We got lots of nice pictures there. Let me see if I have any pictures of the Czech Republic. Again, I don't have too many because I was a little too focused playing photographer for my sister and her friends. But here's one of inside the St. Vitus Cathedral. I think it is. Yeah, here we go. This one's a really nice picture. Well, I'm not a great photographer, but when I wasn't taking pictures of my sister and her friends, I did take some pictures of my own. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that gorgeous? Most of my pictures are like facing upwards, or honestly all of them are facing upwards because I don't want to get like random people in the shot. So yeah, isn't that beautiful? Gorgeous architecture. I love like old architecture. It's so beautiful. But yeah, this was from inside the cathedral. Beautiful. Let me see. I think I have another picture from inside the cathedral that I could show you all. Yeah, here we go. Let me change this one out. Bum, bum. There you go. Look at that. Gorgeous, isn't it? Yeah. Wow. Look at that. So yeah, they talked about the history of the cathedral and some important figures in their history. We learned about, yeah, it was really cool. Beautiful, isn't it? Oh my gosh. Yeah. We like learned about the different like regions of the Czech Republic. I think the three were Moravia, Bohemia, and I don't know how to pronounce this last one, Silesia, I think. But our tour guide talked a lot about it because he was like, yeah, so he's like, I'm in a group of 3 friends, and like what's really cool is that the 3 of us are all from like the different historical regions of the Czech Republic, and you know, he seemed really excited talking about them and like their histories, and like it was really cool. Like I think it was really what really helped make the learning experience fantastic was our tour guide was so like, you could tell that he really liked telling people about, you know, history and sharing, you know, his knowledge. So that was really cool. But yeah, so I think let me see if I have any more of the Czech Republic. I do have more, but unfortunately it's not anything I could show you all. Just because there are pictures of people, there are children in the photos, and I cannot show that to you. So yeah, because again, I played photographer, and like it's been really funny. They've been like posting all the pictures from the trip, and I was like, I took that picture, because I was worried, because I was like, I hope these look okay. I'm not a great photographer. I hope, you know, it's still fine. Like, oh, it's great. And so the fact that they were using that made me happy. I'm glad that it was up to their standards. I feel like I was never really like super picky about the pictures I post to social media. I'm not super, well, I think I'm pretty okay at posting to social media. Nowadays, not so much. I'm busy, I guess. But like back, like 3-ish years ago, I think maybe I was a lot better at posting. But I just got busy, so I never got around to it. But I'm glad the photos are usable. I'm glad I still have my touch of taking good social media pictures. So, yeah. I guess I could show you. Oh my gosh. There's one really I think my favorite, and again, every place was so beautiful, but I think for me, my personal preferences about like aesthetics and styles was, we went to Schönbrunn Palace in Austria, and I love this like period of times, like aesthetic. Again, no one aesthetic is better than the other, but I personally just already like this kind of aesthetic, like this time period of design. But this is from, look at that! Look at that! And that's a painting up there. obviously. They didn't have printers back then. But this is one of the ceilings in Schönbrunn Palace, and like all of the rooms are like this. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Look at that. Yeah, ladders and scaffolding, exactly. I'll zoom in a little bit. Wow. Look at that. He was the tour guide was explaining to us like the meaning behind the paintings and things like that. Wow. So beautiful. And I cannot stress this enough. Like, you cannot even begin to like the experience of seeing it in real life pales in comparison. Like, the pictures pale in comparison to seeing it in real life. I'm glad I'm able to show this to you, though. If you ever get the chance to go, oh, it's beautiful. I think I have another picture of the palace. Let me pull that up. Beautiful. So gorgeous. I also stopped taking pictures towards the end of the trip because I was really tired. But, you know, I got a pretty good, I got a pretty good amount in the first, like, 3/4 of the trip. Oh, yeah. I'm glad they allowed us to take pictures, for sure. Definitely wanted to bring back some memories. Oh, here's another room. I'm telling you, I love this aesthetic. Like, it's such a beautiful... Look at that. So ornate. And they had, like, the black wood with the gold, like, inlay. That's so gorgeous. Look at that. Wow. And, like, you see this furniture, and, like, if you were to see this furniture, like, in the wrong context, like for example, like in a modern, like, apartment or something, it would feel, like, really kitschy or, like, really, like, gaudy, but, like, it in context with the rest of the room, right? It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Wow. Love it. So beautiful. Yeah, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. Let's see, what else? Oh, we also went to a cemetery. Oh, this was interesting. We went to a cemetery where a lot of really famous composers were buried. It was, I think the tour guide said, the third largest cemetery in Europe. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, we got to visit the graves of a couple of composers. And there was a beautiful church in the middle of it all. Let me see if I can pull up the picture. Did I catch any pictures of the musician ghost? Oh my gosh, that'd be crazy. Oh my gosh, there's this... Oh my gosh. Here, I found the picture. Beautiful, beautiful architecture. And what's really awesome is that they have readings around the buildings, and you can, like, learn about the history of the building and, like, their inspirations. Oh, there we go. My OBS froze for a second. That scared me. I was like, no. But yeah, oh, this one was beautiful. And, you know, they had little readings where you can learn about the history of how it was made and its inspirations. So beautiful. Yeah. And what me and my small group did, whenever we had, like, our free times, we always went and did the things that other people weren't doing first, because we wanted to have, like, a quieter experience, right? So we can... I realized, I noticed that my group is definitely the more, like... And I'm glad, because I'm also the same way when it comes to places that I visit. We're definitely a more, like, contemplative group. We definitely, you know, like to read things. And, you know, every group is different. Every group dynamic is different, right? Some people, some tourists like to, you know, just experience the moment, you know. And for us, we liked reading and kind of, like, experience. Like, together we would do it. But, you know, we would kind of silently appreciate, you know, the architecture, the history on our own. Even though we were, like, together, right? That was kind of just our group dynamic. So we preferred to be away from, like, the larger group as much as possible, because, again, you know, the nature of being in a group, it just tends to get a little loud. So we would always go off and do what other people are doing at the moment, because it was, we hit all the major spots that everyone else was hitting, but we just kind of hit it out of the order that everyone else was doing, just to kind of get away from the noise a little bit. But yeah, I'm glad the group matched, my sort of energy, I guess. But yeah, so that was beautiful. I didn't want to take any pictures in the cemetery itself. I don't know. For me personally, it just felt a little weird. But I think maybe I'll ask around to see if anyone else took pictures. But yeah, Vienna had just great architecture. I also really like the architecture in Prague as well. Here's a picture I took when I was just walking around in Salzburg. I immediately booked it to... Oh, do I have it? Oh no! It's not downloaded. It's okay. But yeah, beautiful weather, beautiful architecture. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else to talk about. I'm trying not to let the jet lag get to me. What if I just napped on stream right now? Napping time. Me. Oh, I wanted to talk about... Oh my gosh. My goodness. Back to my chaperone. My chaperone stories, right? My chaperone life vlog. There were some times where I thought... because I think a lot of times I was like, am I being a good chaperone? Am I doing this right? Like, am I, doing my job correctly? But, I try not to, be too, I guess judgy is probably the word, but it was really upsetting to see for other students. Here's what an example I get. Because if you think about it, it's a student trip at the end of the day, right? And the trip is for the students and for their learning and stuff. So I would like to think we prioritize the enjoyment and the learning of the student, right? And so it was a little upsetting to see some of the chaperones take opportunities to interact with an exhibit, or for example, or take away opportunities from other students to try something or experience something when that experience could have gone to a student. I understand it's really cool to do it, to do the interactive experience or try the thing, and I get that, right? But some people, I noticed some chaperones would always try the thing or do the thing, and it was kind of sad seeing students who wanted to try the thing lose that chance to do so on multiple occasions. So I was like, oh, that's a little upsetting to see. Yeah, because you would think that as a chaperone, or I guess as an adult, you would be fine with because of course there was definitely opportunities where I would have loved to try that, but I understand that there's also these students who want to do it too, so I'll just watch them do the exhibit or something, and it's not quite the same experience, but at least I'm still learning from it, right? But I don't know, because whenever that happened for me, it's oh, I wanted to try that exhibit at the museum, but maybe one day in the future I could come back. Because again, it's this is their school trip, and I didn't want to ruin that experience for them. But I don't know, maybe again, maybe they were just really excited, so you kind of forget oh, maybe I should be prioritizing their enjoyment. So I can understand that, but it was a little upsetting to see that, because seeing them be oh, I didn't get the chance to try was disheartening. I told my sister before the trip, I was you need to tell me if I'm ever cramping your style, okay? Because I don't want to ruin your your wonderful youthful school trip. And she was don't say that. You're not gonna cramp my style, you're not gonna cramp our style. And so I was oh, well thank you. And she was telling me, she's I'm so glad you went on this trip, you were really well put together, but also you were really fun to be around. So I'm glad I didn't spoil the fun at all. But yeah, I'm trying to think of other interesting I can tell you all about the brain rot Oh my goodness. So, as you know, I mentioned before, I was like, being the same generation as the students I was chaperoning was very helpful because like we could like, bond over things that like maybe they couldn't feel like they could like relax and have fun with like a parent chaperone. And so it was nice. It made for a good dynamic. I think, our whole group got along really well because, again, personality hire, I was able to kind of bring everyone together, including the parents too. I got accepted by the parent group at some point. It was really cool. I was like, oh my gosh, look at me, I'm so cool. That's another tangent, but I'll start from the brain rot first. We had like, how like you go on a trip and you have like inside jokes that you kind of develop. This is so silly. Our inside joke that I came up with. The funny thing is, I was the progenitor of this joke. I was the one who generated it. Is the nah I'd win. The nah I'd win joke. So how it would go, right, is whenever like someone on the trip would say something like, oh, I'm so hungry. I'm like starving right now. I wish I want to eat already. And then somebody would go, are you hungry? Nah, I'd eat. Anyway, it wouldn't be just me saying it, right? Like the bit is that anytime someone would say something like, oh, I'm so tired, I wish I could just go to sleep. Then somebody random would go, somebody in the group would go, are you tired? Nah, I'd sleep. And so that was like our inside joke. And there was one who was like, oh my, I was like, children, don't go off that way, you're gonna get lost. And then one of my sister's friends was like, would you get lost? Nah, I'd be found. So that was really fun. But yeah, so I think I blended pretty well with the students. I remember one of the chaperones, because again, at first I was like, oh my gosh, I feel kind of like left out because like, I'm like the only like young chaperone. So I was like, oh, I hope like they don't think I'm like, irresponsible. I want to show them that I'm responsible and that I can be an adult too. And at first I was mostly sitting with like my sister, because of course, like we're friends too, me and my sister. So she would like, oh, come over, sit with us. And so I'd sit there, and but at some point, I was like, oh, I can sit at the chaperone's table too, because of course, like I don't want to take a seat away. If the table was smaller, I don't want to take a seat away from like one of my sister's friends, right? Let her do her own thing. So I'd go up to the chaperones and I'd be like, hey guys, can I sit here? And they'd be like, yeah. And we'd talk about like work. And I guess, I don't know, it was really, they were like, what do you do for work? I was like, oh, yeah, I'd talk about idle side job. But, it was so cool. I was having like, adult chaperone conversations. It was really fun. And I felt like so like mature. I was like, yeah, oh these kids. So one of them was like, I was really surprised to find out like that you were a chaperone. Like you just blend so well with them. Like she's like, how do you do it? I was like, I don't know. I just am the way I am. And she's like, I think that's so cool. Like I think that's so cool that like you're really close with like your siblings, that you guys like hang out. And I was like, yeah. But it was really fun. Did you feel that same hesitancy about that what do you do for work question like you were a year ago? Yeah, I mean, it's I don't really like, it's not like a shame thing. It's like a privacy thing that I don't tell people right away that I do content, right? So I just talk about idle side job and nothing exciting. But yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm finally getting accepted. This is so cool. And like by the end of it's really funny though. I say get accepted, but in like the context of when we were like watching over the students, I was one of the adults, right? I was like, I'm here to do my job. But whenever it was like the adults' free time and like the students were doing like their exhibit or like their like learning experience, whatever, it's like I became the chaperone, because again in my group it was the two parents, right, of one of my sister's friends, and then it was me. And so whenever it was just the three of us, I felt like they were chaperoning me. Well, because sometimes, some of the free times I would go off on my own, right? Because I've actually a great solo traveler. I like to think so. I've solo traveled quite a bit. Not quite a bit. Maybe like in the US. I've only ever solo traveled once. And that was to when I was visiting like Iku and everyone. Of course I was doing some traveling with them, but like I went off to a different city by myself, and of course I still like shared my location with like Iku. I was like, hey, I'm going off to this city for like 2 days. Here's my Find My or whatever, or my Google location, so just in case something bad happens to me or you don't see me in 2 days, here you go. But for the most part, I think I'm at least I don't think I get lost easily. If I do get lost, I can find my way. But for the most part, I think I'm pretty responsible in that sense. So sometimes in the adult free time, I would go off on my own and just explore, let myself get lost. Not in the literal sense, but see where the wind takes me kind of thing. But in some of the adult free times, I would go with the group because we got along, and so they'd be like, they'd ask me, where do you want to go? I was like, I want to go to this park. Like, can you walk me to this park? And like, yeah. I think solo traveling is really nice because you can go off and do your own thing. I'm kind of like, I don't know if insane is the word to use, but I'm kind of like crazy when it comes to like activities. I like being active. I like moving, and at some point all of our feet were starting to hurt, but I was like, I want to go check out this park. I want to go walk around the city center because like I want to check everything out. And I felt bad. I didn't want to always like drag them everywhere. So I was like, oh, if you're tired, you don't have to like chaperone me and things like that. But I always tell my friends, like whenever they visit me or if I go somewhere, like I tell them ahead of time. Well, my friends who I've known for a long time already know this, so I don't have to tell them. But if I'm traveling with people, I go, you need to tell me when you're tired, because I will literally keep going until I get back home and I crash. I just get really excited about things, and so sometimes I don't realize how how tired I can be. I guess my mind just doesn't think about it when I'm having fun. And this is specifically for like trips, right? I know how to regulate myself, I promise. I'm a responsible adult, but it's like it's a trip, and how often do I get to go on an international trip? So I think for me personally, it's worth that sort of like extra exertion. Again, for everyone's different as a traveler, but for me personally, I think since I don't get to travel often internationally, that sort of like extra exertion is worth it in my head. Not every, you're not gonna, we're only human. You're not gonna be perfect at managing your energy all the time. But, so, I was like, I'm gonna take off on my own. So yeah, it was pretty fun. Yeah, it wasn't all the time. But, I'm glad though, because like the parents were actually really cool. They were very like, chill. And so we got to like talk, and by the end of it, when we were saying goodbyes, I was like, bye! It was so fun, and she was like, yeah, it was so nice meeting you. It was so sweet. A workaholic capable of moderation, impossible. I did bring my laptop. With me. I knew I wasn't going to be on it very often, just by the nature of like our very busy schedule, and of course by the end of the day, I was going to be tired after walking around. But little old workaholic Rita had to bring her laptop. And I didn't check it often. Well, I just checked my messages and things like that. If I had any, like, work I needed. Like, if somebody needed something. Because I signed up. The funny thing is, the karaoke relay, I signed up for it, like, 2 days before I left. I was reached out to, and it was like, hey, Rita, like, this is happening here. And I was like, oh, my goodness, I'm going to be out of the country up until that day. Like, I will literally be coming back in that 24-hour period. And she's like, oh, it's fine. I was like, oh, okay, I'll do it. And so I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And so I was already busy getting things ready for, just so I can have some, like, loose ends tied up before the trip. Like, I was getting some recordings done for VTSO, like, getting some projects wrapped up. I didn't actually finish all the projects I wanted to finish before then. Because at some point I was getting too tired, so I was like, I need to rest. But I was like, okay, I'll do it. And so I didn't decide my set list until the flight home. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to think about what I'm going to sing. And so I got back, I crashed, like crashed. I like went to the market because I needed to get food because I didn't have any groceries. Or no. I didn't even have that much time. I got home. I like called my friends, let them know I was home. I took a nap. I woke up. I put together my set list, practiced it a little bit, and then I went live. And then I crashed. And then I went to the market the next day. And then I took basically naps the entire day. I did do some work. Yeah, I was down to the wire, but I had so much fun. I think this is actually a great segue into my karaoke, right? I'm not gonna sing the whole thing because I don't know the whole song. I was only planning on singing the TV size because I knew I didn't have that much time. Let's see. Guren no yumiya. Water check. Let me get the instrumental up. And let me change my microphone. Reverb. Okay. I did have lots of fun. At the end of the day, I think the trip, as stressful and exhausting as the trip was, I had a lot of fun. I would love to go back again, preferably not while chaperoning a bunch of high schoolers. Maybe like I'll just go with my sisters or something, but I probably won't be able to go back for a while. Yeah, I don't travel internationally very often. It's really weird that I've been traveling like internationally. Like I got to go to Japan last year, so that's already like whoa. I don't normally travel this much, which is kind of crazy. So I don't know, it's exciting though. I'm happy that I get the chance to do it. I'm very grateful. But yeah, I spent some time saving up some money so I could, treat my sister to like snacks and things like that. So I'm really glad that she had a good time. I put in a lot of effort to make sure that everyone had a good time, including myself. I had a lot of fun. Yeah, unfortunately it costs money. Well, the thing that I'm very grateful for is that I didn't have to pay for like the main trip part itself. I just had to make sure that my sister had food whenever there was like free times. I made sure like if she like was tired, I'd like get her like some food, or like if there was a souvenir she wanted to buy, I just saved up for that. Because I just wanted to make sure that we had, funds, like euros, in case something happened. Here is Kuren no Yumiya. Yeah, so thankfully I didn't have to worry about that too much. Okay, let me get my audio. Oh, it's not playing. Okay, there we go. It's kind of quiet for me. Turn it up. Sorry if it's too loud. It's gonna get really loud in a second. I can't mess up the German. I'm gonna mess up the German. I apologize. I just realized that there's a spoken intro. I don't know what it is, but it's like その日人類を思い出した that whole like thing. I forgot about that. I was surprised. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna mess it up, but it's okay. It's fine. I gotta commit to the bit. Okay, I can do it. I'll do my best. I'll just mumble it. I'll do it quietly. I'm just saying it like they sing it in the song, okay? Do I remember how the song goes? Oh god. 生まれた花の名前も知らずに地に落ちた鳥は風を待ちわびる祈ったところで何も変わらない今を変えるのは戦う覚悟だし屍踏み越えて進む星を笑う歌よ家畜の羽虚偽の羽シセル画廊の自由を問われた屈辱は反撃の行使だ城壁のその彼方 震えがほとばしる衝動にその身を焼きながら黄昏に火をがつぐれの弓矢先手が先手がYay! Woo! I feel like it's one of those songs that you just like can't forget the general melody of. It's really funny because like and normally I just go Oh my gosh. Yeah, so there's a song I owed you all from yesterday. And the other reason, so the reason why I sung the Mirai Nikki opening is because they go, I had to think about this in my head because I didn't have the songs on my phone. Here, I'm going to switch back to my regular mic. Because I had like I couldn't listen to the songs, right? Because I had to be on airplane mode and I wasn't going to pay for the in-flight Wi-Fi. I brought Xenoblade. I brought Xenoblade with me and I brought Mass Effect, like the books with me. I finally finished Ascension. Is this the second one? Because I'd finished like a good chunk of it already. But at some point I like went on a hiatus from reading that book and it was just hard to get back into it because I like forgot a bunch of it. But I finally was able to sit down and like reread a chapter or two and then I remembered everything and it really like ramped up at the end. I was like, oh my gosh, like, wow. Because it was the part where because the part where I left off was they were still on Omega or they just had left Omega with Len. Like they got into the ship after that whole fiasco at the warehouse. So where I picked back up was they had just left and they were trying to make it to the migrant fleet. But that whole like I wasn't expecting it to like ramp up that much because I like kept looking at how many chapters I had left. I was like, oh my gosh, like we're gonna resolve this. Like they just got to the migrant fleet. Like what's gonna happen? I could kind of guess what was gonna happen, that they were gonna be followed into the fleet. That made me really nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so scary. But it was really cool, and I like how I'm glad that I started the next book soon after because it essentially kind of picked up off of like how it ended. Because sorry, this spoiler warning. Oh my goodness. For the books, I finished the second one, and you know how at the end of the second book, Grayson kind of like tells like the elusive man, he's like, you know, I want to ensure, like, I keep saying, is it Kali or Kaylee? I want to ensure like her safety. So like, you know, if you like go after her, if you hurt her, like I'm gonna tell everyone all your secrets. And so they kind of like wrap it up there, and he kind of escapes. You know, he goes off to where he can't be found, and then it picks up from there. Elusive man, Kai Long was in it. That was interesting. That was really cool seeing him there. He like found Grace, and he's like, good. He'd been like on the run for 3 years, so I'm excited to see it. I saw in the blurb that Space Dad's in it. I'm really excited to see Space Dad in that one. But yeah, I did like it felt really fast, but like it wasn't bad fast. Like it felt like it really ramped up, and I was super immersed into it. I was locked in. I was like, oh wow, things are going da 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 da. After chaperoning, you still have energy for reading the book. Well, it was like, it's relaxing. Reading is relaxing when I get the chance to do it. So I read like on the plane. I read on some of the longer bus rides. Yeah. But I like the second book. I don't remember. I think the first book is still a little too far away is too far in the past for me now for me to remember it. But I liked the second book. I liked it. So we'll see the third one. I'm excited. It's going off to a good start, I think. Yeah. I don't know what else I was gonna say. I didn't really have too much of a plan. I was so jet lagged lately, and I gotta do some work because I'm a workaholic. I have some projects I want to work on. Yeah. Anything else you want to know? Any questions you might have about the trip? Things you're curious about? I'm so curious. I haven't done that in a while, huh? About your boy, want to keep it cool, but I know every time you move. I'm still not any closer. Oh my goodness! I found the 2 ice cabbages while I was on the trip. I've been working. I'm still nowhere close to finishing Colony 6 reconstruction. So by the time we do our finale this week for Xenoblade, I'm not gonna have the Colony 6 reconstruction done. Womp womp. It's okay. I'll finish it, whenever I have free time. But I needed 2 ice cabbages for the Colony 6 reconstruction, and for whatever reason I was having such a hard time, because it's a collectible, you don't get it from monsters. And I guess I was just so unlucky. It took me so long to get one to finally spawn, and I finally got one, and I was like, yes! Yes! And then I realized I have to get another one. I was like, oh my goodness. Oh, this is gonna be terrible. But it thankfully didn't take too much long after that for me to get the second ice cabbage, so I think I'm just about to finish level 3 or level 4. But some of the things are kind of like rare, and I could trade it, but I don't think I'm at the right affinity yet for Colony 6, so I'll probably just finish it after chapter 17, or the finale. I know, I do a lot of the finale part 2s, because I don't know how long these are going to take. I don't like searching up beforehand. I still need to fight Sunday! Oh my gosh, I was going to do it yesterday, but I got too tired, so maybe I'll do it tomorrow, like a random stream tomorrow, or maybe I'll do it at the beginning of the Honkai Star Rail stream, who knows. But I don't like searching up beforehand how long something's gonna take. I feel like it kind of spoils it a little bit for me. So, I usually go in after and I add finale, and then if it's not, I'll go finale part 1 later. If I don't finish it, I'll add it later. Yeah. It's really only that last boss fight and then cutscenes. Okay, maybe then I'll do an extra stream. Or I don't know. Well, because the thing is, I don't think I'm strong enough yet. I was hoping to get to the next equilibrium level, but I didn't want to be like on my phone, too much when we were traveling. So I only really got to play Honkai like when we got to the hotel or like at the airport or something. So I didn't get to do too much grinding, but I don't know. Maybe I'll hop onto a treadmill today and and grind some Honkai. But I've been walking a lot already, so I don't want to like pressure myself too much to get back to exercising. But the thing is, I like exercising, so just because I'm gonna be busy, right, getting caught up on some work this week, so I won't stress out too much about getting back to my workout routine. I feel like what I love about traveling too is being able to walk around and see the sights and smell the air and feel the wind on my skin. So as tired as my feet were, I'm glad I got to walk around. Yeah. So I'll just probably spend the next couple of weeks getting caught up, resting a little bit. I walked a lot. I'll have to see how many steps I think one day I got 17,000 steps. Yeah. Let's see. Somebody asked what was my favorite area? I think somebody asked. Let me see. What was my favorite spot? That's tough. Everywhere was so wonderful. But I guess I'll have to go back and see Shunbrun Palace. It's beautiful. I like that specific aesthetic of architecture. And there was also gardens in the back too. I love nature. So that was a really nice place. Did I see any animals? Yeah, like dogs and cats here and there. I'm trying to think of like wildlife. I saw birds, I guess. We didn't really. I saw some cows. I saw some moo cows. I saw some pigs. Yeah. Any souvenirs besides the pictures? Yeah, so I got some for my idle side job coworkers. I got them some coasters from Prague. Cause I was like, I don't know what do you get for people that you like don't really know super well, but like, you want to get them a gift. So I was like, I think this is nice. They can put it on their desk or something. At home. But I saw some of my friends like to cook, so I got some salt, like cooking salt from Salzburg. I got the Mozart chocolates. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I got quite a few snacks. I got Red Bull because it was really interesting. I got like organic Red Bull, which is really cool. Because so the headquarters for Red Bull is in Salzburg, I think, is in Austria. So that was really funny. Our tour guide was talking about it, and he was like, "You should try Red Bull while you're here." And so I didn't get to try it yet, but I bought I don't even know if it has caffeine, but I bought this bottle of Red Bull Organics. I'd never seen that before in the States. Maybe that's like a special thing. I don't know. But yeah, I've never tried it before, so I bought one. I took it home, and I'm gonna drink it at some point. I'm sure it'll help with the jet lag a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. It says organic Red Bull lemon is the one that I got. Easy lemon, yeah. Wow. It says easy lemon, simply cola, and black orange. They don't want to get like a relaxing or like energized. The Red Bull cola is really fancy. Whoa, I've never tried it. I'm excited. But yes, he was talking about like how Red Bull is like it originates or has headquarters in Austria. Interesting. And it was interesting. He like told us about like where it was from and like who bought it. I think the person who was the one who bought a Red Bull, like the recipe for Red Bull, is like may he rest in peace, I guess. If I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember like all the facts. There were so many facts, and like I could literally go on about all of them, but I don't want to bore you all. But one of the random facts was this individual who had bought the recipe for Red Bull was at some point the richest, I think, person in Austria, or the richest Austrian person ever. And then when they passed, it passed on to their son, I guess. Which is an interesting factoid there. But yeah, yes. But again, our tour guide had a lot to share about not just culture and history, but like politics and like fun facts about like the people and like famous people, things like that. Really cool. Any fancy drinks I drank? So okay, aside from the bunches of Avogadro, like the science thing. Aside from all the avocado and coffee that I had, I also had just regular gelato, which was fun. I had that a couple of times. I had that Alpenstoff I was talking about. That was the one alcohol I had when they had like the adult, try some alcohol, like, session, I guess, would you call it that? So that was a nice beer. I don't normally go for beers, but I would totally drink that again, sure. Yeah, it was from a Thai person, I believe, that they bought the Red Bull recipe from. Isn't that interesting? Factoid. Let me see if anyone else had any questions. Watching the Austrian television shows. So my sister actually studies German in school, or with Duolingo too. But yeah, I don't know why she decided to choose German, but it's just something that she decided to pick up, and she was keeping up with her Duolingo streaks because she's been studying like German. At least I've seen her on Duolingo for a long time. But she's been studying German for a little bit, not just for the trip, right? But since before then. So she was like, "Can we watch?" Like at the hotel, she'd be like, "Can I turn on the TV? Can we watch some German television?" So we did watch a little bit of German television. We watched like a documentary in German, just some German news. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other drinks. I drank mostly water, I think. I guess I did try some like sodas, like Fanta Orange. I don't know. Yeah, I think those are just off the top of my head that I can think of. Anything else? Any other questions? How were the pretzels? Oh, good. I had one pretzel. It was nice. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the breads I ate. I ate a lot of breads. Souvenir unbox hand cam. Oh, I would, but most of the souvenirs I got are for other people. I think the only souvenirs I have, I've eaten already. Like I had one of the wafer snack that I bought in the Czech Republic. I ate that today. I also started digging into this one hazelnut chocolate that I bought. I'm trying to think of other souvenirs that I got for myself. I'm trying to think. I think I got some snacks. I think it's just a couple of snacks. And the Red Bull, the organic Red Bull. So I guess I could do, maybe I'll when I get around to trying it, I'll do like an Annie Live stream where I just try the drink. Gosh. Yeah, only wrappers left, unfortunately. I could show those off. I took a picture of them before I ate them. Favorite bread on my trip, the croissants. But that's like a biased answer because I already really love croissants. Even like the hotel croissants are so good. Oh my gosh. Between me and my sister, we ate a lot of croissants. Oh my gosh. Did I try kangaroo? There was actually a lot of like souvenirs. It was really funny. There's a lot of souvenirs in the shops that would say like, there are no kangaroos in Austria. I thought that was really funny how, you know, I guess they play on that whole thing where people mix up Australia and Austria a lot. Thought that was silly. What else? Any other questions? I think that's all. I didn't prepare a slideshow this time around. Pretty quick turnaround for my stream where I talked about it. Also, I was just so busy during that whole... Because, like, when I went to Japan last year, I had a lot of free time to myself and, like, downtime, and I could relax and stuff. But this time around, you know, I had to be responsible and, like, locked in all the time. So, yeah. I hope you still enjoyed my stories. Try to think. Yeah. I mean, I told you about the little inside joke that we had. That nah, I'd eat. Nah, I'd sleep. I'm trying to think of other jokes. They just thought I was really silly. They were like, "You are just so funny, like your whole family, I guess." I was like, "Really? Thanks. Maybe it's a gene." But yeah, I was just being their silly little court jester. I would go up to one of my sister's friends and I'd be like, "Hey, so did you happen to check this?" And then she would just start laughing, and I was like, "Wait, why are you laughing?" And she was just like, "You're so naturally funny, like the way that you talk." I was like, "Oh, okay." Oh my gosh, no, she was just like, "I think you're just really, like, your energy is very positive and like bright," and she appreciated that. So I was like, "Yay, that's good." Kind of cool you went to do the relay almost immediately after the trip. Yeah! Wow, isn't that crazy? Like, I think by the time, because, you know, like, I had, like, a drive home and, like, you know, I had to get some food and, you know, all that stuff. But by the time I finally got to, like, lay on my floor, I didn't even get the chance to unpack. I think it was, like, 3 hours. I had 3 hours by the time I was finally able to touch down and in my room, and, you know, 3 hours between then and my section of the relay. So I was like, oh my gosh, I need to, like, actually listen to these songs, and try to sing them. So that was really fun, though. I thought it was fun. And then immediately after I knocked out, I crashed. Yeah, well, not immediately after. I had to eat a little bit. Yeah, it's cool. And then I woke up really early. I woke up at 5:30. Because I slept pretty early, too. Yeah. Very chill, comfy energy, but also very infectious, bubbly, happy. I sure hope so. I sure hope that's the vibe I give off. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm probably gonna, you know, sleep in a little bit. Getting a little eepy. Where I was able to play Genshin with the kids? No, but I did let them pull on the Boot Hill banner for me. I was like, do you guys want to pull on this banner? I wasn't really planning on getting Boot Hill, but I was like, I need to think of something to entertain them. I was like, here, pull for me. And so we didn't get it. I only let them do like a couple of, you know, 10 pulls. And then by then we like kickstarted the conversation about Honkai Star Rail. So no more need to, you know, pull for Boot Hill. Yeah. So. Ooh, so easy. And I gotta eat and do some work. Yeah. But thanks for hanging out. I hope you all enjoyed my stories. We have some Honkai Star Rail on Wednesday. I might do a random stream tomorrow to see if I can do the Sunday fight before we start 2.3. Wow, I just realized how hungry I was. I've eaten already. I ate lunch. I guess I just need to eat dinner now. Ooh, I was so like locked in on having fun and telling stories. I'm hungry now because it's dinner time. I started eating before stream, but I was like, I'm not that hungry. But now I'm hungry. Yeah. I hope you get the chance. This was also kind of like a once in a lifetime opportunity for me too. So I don't know when I'll be able to go back. But I gotta stay positive. I hope that one day I'll be able to go. But if I don't, I can say that I've been. So this was a very meaningful trip for me too, you know. I want to make sure that my sister had a good time on her school trip, but I'm glad that I had the opportunity to go. I feel very grateful for it. I learned a lot. I got to meet new people and you know, experience a whole new world. But yeah, Wednesday is Honkai Star Rail, the 2.3 update. Then we have Xenoblade finale on Friday evening. Sunday morning we have some Kingdom Hearts. Which I think people... I've played a little bit of Kingdom Hearts when I was a kid. So I don't remember too much. I only remember a couple of things. I remember Destiny Islands. I know Tarzan was in there. I remember sliding around on some vines. I remember Hercules was there. I think I only ever played one, though. I think I played one and then a couple of minutes of two. But again, I didn't, like, I was too poor to, like, have a lot of, like, games and, like, consoles and stuff. So it was my cousin's Kingdom Hearts 2, so I never really got to play it too much on her console. But I played it for a few minutes. But yeah, I played a little bit of Kingdom Hearts 1 when I was really, really young. So I don't remember too much about it. I remember Destiny Island. I remember the gummy ship. I remember Traverse Town. Or Traverse Town. I don't know how to pronounce it. I remember Chippendale from when they drove the gummy ship. I remember Simple and Clean. I remember Kylie. I remember Kylie, not me reading Mass Effect and mixing up Kaylee Sanders with Kyrie. I remember Kyrie. I remember Riku. I remember Sora. I remember Roxas and that whole like thing. I actually read the manga for that one. There was a manga with Roxas in it. I don't remember that one. I remember Organization 13. I remember, what's the red-haired guy's name? Axel. Has to be, right? Because they have like X's in their names. I don't know. I don't remember how they're related. Like how everyone's like, I don't remember the relationship chart here. Like who's enemies, who's friends. I remember at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts, you had to choose something. And you had to give up something. So I remember choosing... I can't remember if I chose the staff or the shield. It was either one of those. I feel like I started the game a couple of times. Because I feel like I understood how to start the game. But like as it went on, I don't think I quite understood. Like I don't think I have the brain processing yet to be able to fully dive into the Kingdom Hearts game. But I understood that part, right? You had to choose a path and then give something up. And then I always gave up the sword. Like that was something I never really like vibed with, so I always gave up the sword no matter what. Oh, but that was such a cool like opening sequence. Yeah. So that's all but that's all I remember. It's kind of like how we started playing Mass Effect on stream, and the only thing I had remembered was like a couple of things about Garrus, and then I remembered all that stuff on Vermeer with our I don't even want to think about it. It was so stressful. Duh. Never again. I will never make the same mistakes as I did the first time playing Mass Effect. But yeah, no, I think I was a little too tiny to understand really the game too much. So I'm excited to jump in because now I'll understand it. Like I never understood the combat system, and I'm sure I will now. But the chain of memories, I never understood that. The whole like card system thing, like that just didn't register in my head. I would just throw random things and hope for the best. But yeah, I remember Kingdom Hearts. Oh, I remember Alice in Wonderland, and they had like the garden. I just couldn't grasp, and you know, I guess that makes sense because I still have trouble with this game concept to this day. But platforming, jumping, there was like platforming I had to do in the garden, and I just couldn't for the life of me manage to like jump to where I needed to jump. So I like couldn't finish that level. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I never played. I remember there was a character named Yen Sid. And it's funny because what is Yen Sid backwards? Think about it. Take a second. do the math. I think he was in Traverse Town because he was like a guide or something. Right? Is that correct? Yeah, Disney! Woohoo! Is that so funny? I think oh my gosh, I remember getting so scared. I think it was in Traverse Town, and there was this huge Heartless that like showed up out of nowhere. And again, I wasn't a gamer when I was tiny Rita, but I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just a girl. How am I supposed to defeat this? I don't think my brain could wrap around the, I don't know, the fine motor skills needed to do all that, but yeah. Nia! Woohoo! Thank you for the raid. Welcome in. Thank you. We've pretty much finished all of the whatchamacallit. We basically finished all the stuff I wanted to talk about the trip. But for those who just came in, hello everyone. I'm the idol to give you the wings to fly, Cyber Angel, Rita Kamishiro at your service. And I just went on a trip for about a week. It was my sister's school trip. I was invited to be a chaperone for that trip because I needed a certain amount of people. So thankfully I didn't have to worry about, you know, saving up for that. I was invited to be a chaperone to meet the numbers. Little old personality hire chaperone over here. Chaperone who always got mistaken as another student. I felt like a personality hire. I was like, I promise I promise I can work just as hard as everyone else. But that's what it felt like since I was like the youngest of the chaperones. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. I was mostly in Austria. We spent a lot of time learning about music history, going to museums. They had a lot of interactive experiences for the students. I did get to go a little bit. We got to go a little bit into Germany and the Czech Republic as well, but mostly we were in Austria. I'm feeling good. I'm a little tired, but I think we were about to wrap up pretty soon, so I apologize, Raiders, for those who just popped in. We are going to wrap up in the next few minutes. We were talking about what streams we have this week. So Wednesday, I'm going to be playing Honkai Star Rail. There's the new 2.3 update. Maybe tomorrow I'll do a random stream where I finish the Sunday battle from Penacony. If not, maybe we'll do that at the beginning of stream on Wednesday. Friday night, we'll be doing the finale for Xenoblade Chronicles 1. And I, of course, do plan on playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2. We're probably just going to take a week or two break between the end of 1. For my heart, of course, to heal. No, it's more just like I want to get a little bit into Kingdom Hearts before we start a new game. But I think once we start getting into the swing of things for both games, I'll probably switch off the weeks. So like 1 week is Kingdom Hearts, then we'll do Xenoblade, and then we'll switch back and forth. Because I also want to do, I want to start doing a voice acting game. I'm thinking of starting To the Moon. So maybe like in a week or two, I'll start that. We also have in 2 weeks, we have our virtual Summer Splatoon Showdown. So if you are a virtual YouTuber or a PNG tuber, and you either, it can be any skill level. If you like Splatoon, if you want to try Splatoon. I know, probably not you, Nia. I know you tried Splatoon and didn't like it too much, but hey, you never know. Maybe you could give it another chance. But yeah, any skill levels are welcome. If you're interested, you can go to tinyurl.com/virtual3s. You could also check out the link in my Twitter bio to visit my card. The information there is there as well. I'm really excited. We put in a lot of work and effort into this. And I hope it'll go well. I hope this, it's gonna be the first iteration, so it'll be, our first try. But I'm hoping in the future, for it to be an annual thing. So, in the future, it could be a lot bigger and exciting. And I essentially just wanted to bring, our community together with a fun little tournament. And now he's like, what's a game that I know that does like competitive stuff? So Splatoon kind of just came naturally to me. So it's gonna be fun if you want to join on that. There's no expectation for skill level. It's really fun. You can win the top prize is a fun illustration of your team. So if you want a cute little illustration, be sure to, or if you just want to have fun, that's the point of it, right? Thank you for the link. Thank you, Shiny. Shiny's been a huge help through all of this. So, patch. Shiny's also gonna be casting in it. So if you wanna check out all of Shiny's hard work during the stream, he'll be there as well. I'll be hosting. I'm not very good at casting, so I'll be your host, Rita Kamishiro. But yeah, so if you have any VTubers that who play Splatoon or who want to try Splatoon, let them know about the event. You can, I don't know, email them or something, mention it if the opportunity arises. Use their hashtag. I don't know how everyone has a different way of being contacted, right? So make sure you respect those boundaries and be sure to share the event with everyone. I'm so excited too. I'm a little nervous. Oh, I'm always nervous about big events. I was nervous for Connectivity too. But I think that just comes naturally for things that you're really excited about. So I'm excited. Everything's looking really cool. I wanted to get really cool resources done for this event. Because again, I want this to be a recurring thing. So, I invested in like really nice overlays and stuff. Yeah, so I'm really excited. Yay, it's gonna be fun. And, I hope that in the future we can grow it and it can be even greater and more fun than years prior. So, hopefully, we'll have lots of fun for our first year. Well, we have a lot to learn too, and it'll be great. But yeah, any other questions about my trip before I send you all off to the next stream? Yeah. Where was I? Mostly Austria. I did get to go a little bit to Germany for a little bit and the Czech Republic as well. It was super fun. I really enjoyed everywhere that I went. And I don't know if I'll ever get the chance to go again, but fingers crossed, Never say never. Okay, well, I'm getting a little hungry and the jet lag's starting to kick in. And I still have a lot of work to catch up on today. So I'm sorry. I'm just happy to be back. I'm just really happy. Yeah, I missed you all. I missed streaming. I missed, putting content out there. Oh, and then also while I was out, thank you all so much for all the support on Method. The final results come out for not just like the voting, the popular vote that just went on the past couple of weeks or days, I guess. But like the judges' results come out on the 1st of July. So, fingers crossed. I mean, the most important part is that we had fun. If you haven't streamed Method yet, check it out. Even if you don't like Honkai Star Rail, I think I talked about this already, but it was such a huge departure from like songs that I've sung before and written lyrics for. So it was a really fun challenge, and I think you can enjoy it even if you don't like Honkai Star Rail. So I just wanted to take a second to thank you all for all of your support. It really meant a lot to me, and it really meant a lot to Riku as well. It was such a great creative artistic experience for the both of us. So seeing how much love it got from you all really meant a lot to us. So fingers crossed. But whatever happens, I'm just glad you all enjoyed it, and I really appreciate everyone's support. If you didn't check out the stream where we talked about the song, check it out. But yeah, as always, let me make sure that I have my schedule updated on my ending screen. I do! Let's see. Maybe it might be the old one. Yeah, it is the old one. Ooh. Let me download this one off of my Twitter. Yeah, thank you for the link. I really appreciate that. Oh my gosh. I made some Thai curry yesterday. I was so tired. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to fall asleep because I don't want to mess up my sleep schedule. But I was still taking a nap. I just like didn't, allow myself to fall asleep until like, a reasonable time. So I was like, oh, I could just fall asleep right now. I'm so tired. But I was like, oh, but Senshi would want me to eat a good meal. So I finally somehow got up and I made myself a Thai curry, which is also my meal prep for the week. So, yippee! You're welcome for the story. I had a lot of fun sharing it. Yeah, I missed you guys. So I'm glad I can finally be back. Okay, that should be the updated schedule. Just kidding, it's not. Why did it download? Oh, there we go. It might have a couple of mistakes here and there, but that's okay. Well, my OBS. Oh no. Please. Okay. Alrighty, as always, I'm the idol to give you the wings to fly. Cyber Angel Rita Kamishiro at your service. Bye! Yeah. I was trying to decide who to stream, and YouTube like suggested me. I don't know if I follow them or something, but I got a random like recommendation, and I was like, oh my gosh, why don't we just raid into them? I wonder if I'm allowed to. They're playing Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, the first case. So I think that'd be a great spot to. I know sometimes it's hard to jump in on a game like that requires a lot of like story and stuff. But why not? Let's do it. Let me go ahead and I think I don't know. YouTube does that sometimes where because I watch VTubers, so YouTube will randomly suggest VTuber videos and streams, but it's not very often that I get recommended a live one, so I'm excited. Be friendly. Bread raid. You could also say my name as well, because not everyone knows what bread raid might be, but also YouTube shows the message. But anyway, have fun. Send my regards. Tell them I said hi. Maybe I'll pop in for a little bit before I grab dinner and get some work done. But I'm excited! Yay! Okay, bye!